Hey all, Masati here. Welcome to Mas on Sunday, where we explain the unexplained with science, top level science, not science that deteriorates after 10 years. Have you ever heard of, the science? It's like it's proven, it's fact for about 10 years. And then, they get better equipment, they have more knowledge, they have better understanding of whatever that they're studying. And they go, you know what we thought about 10 years ago, and usually it's about a decade, 10 years ago is all wrong. We had it all wrong. Well, exponential intelligence sciences, it's not like that. It's timeless science. It never changes. It never erodes. It's a lot like nature because exponential intelligence is based and it's backed by the science of nature, the real science of nature. So it goes way beyond the current sciences. It goes way beyond current theological systems, the religious aspects of what God is, what ideas are, what nature is, all that. It literally is a merging of science, real science, like natural science, nature science, and then what we deem as God. Merging the two together, coming into, say, a pure form, a pure definition, so we can all live by that pure definition, not by the bullshit definition that humans have created. And that's why society has gone awry. That's why society is corrupt or implode over time. If you've noticed, a lot of high-level societies, civilizations back in the Roman, the Greek, and plenty of others, Chinese, Sumerian, all those cultures, what do? They imploded. They died off because they weren't. Ray Kurzweil talks about this, right? Where it allows us to, science, the real science, nature science, God science, if you want to call it that, again, outside of religions, pure source science is, say, ascending. It's always moving forward, and it's about time and space. It's about the multidimensional, say, planes or probabilities of what we could be. So we're going to a higher level, but humans try to stay, say, flatline. We haven't evolved. Our technologies have evolved, but humans as a whole, we haven't evolved. In fact, we've kind of devolved. So this is where Ray Kurzweil goes with the graph. If you look up Ray Kurzweil's point of singularity, we're really getting close to that, where, again, we're flatlining. The technology came up to our consciousness, flatline here, so where our line is here, the technology again was below here, and now our technology is meeting our consciousness level. And then when that consciousness level, say, goes beyond our level of consciousness, well, that's where things go awry, and that's where things implode. And that's what's happening today. So we have a great opportunity when things, boom, hit head on, have a great opportunity to expand ourselves and awaken and move along with the technology, so the technology doesn't bury us or destroy us. Okay. Now, and as I said, in the past, a lot of civilizations have imploded. Their technological advances compared to their consciousness level went past that line, and they had to die over. A lot of people think, machines are going to take over this world and so on, and they could. But then if we don't exist, this reality doesn't exist. All right. So today we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that's coming up for us to understand. That there are deeper frequencies that control this reality. Okay. Just like, when you see, you use Wi-Fi all the time, right? You use cellular networks, you use remote controls, you use so many things that are unseen that you are now used to. Now, if you were, say, Galileo, or if you were Picasso, and I told you about, I have this device here that you can talk to and you can connect with other people across the world, they would think that Picasso would think, he'd be intrigued. But at first it's like, there's no way, right? You'd be crazy. So what I'm about to tell you is just that scenario. I'm just telling you why things work. So if you think I'm crazy, if you think there's no science behind it, of course there's no science behind it. But there's a lot of field studies What we do transforms, we've transformed over 100,000 client sessions. We've transformed a hell of a lot of lives with tactical, physical field results, field tested results, not lab tested results or clinical studies or anything like that that can be, say, manipulated. This is actual physical field tested results with transformations that people get in their lives. Okay. That's how real it is. So what I'm about to tell you on these unexplained, say, plane incidents that, went viral and strange sightings and mysterious encounters, you might not believe, but that's okay. That's totally cool. But just instead of going, no, let's take a look at the possibilities. Because if we can't figure out, we need all possible solutions, even if they're wrong, right? Even if they're wrong. And then that allows us to understand the possibilities that could be that we're not seeing. But if we shut things off like blinders, we basically tend to create ourselves in a rut. So whether you're the scientific community or the religious community, all those standards are based on, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So we need something new. We need a new concept. We need a new concept of being. Our governments, again, thousands, I would say, years old. So we're living the future by the past standards. We can't do that anymore. Hence that we're going head to head with our consciousness. And it's like, hey, this shit's not working for us. So we need to expand on that. So I'm going to explain some of the mysteries behind these unexplained incidents. Okay. And it might sound crazy, but there might be some truth to it as well. It could be a lot of truth. And it could explain a lot of things that a lot of you are actually experiencing right now. Some crazy, crazy stuff. So we'll get into that. So let's just jump in. I'm going to share my screen with you. So we're going to talk about, what's causing passengers to experience extreme fear mid-flight, our encounters with non-human entities like AI or reptilian shapeshifters. What are the causes? Are they real? And then could a shift in Earth's gravitational pull trigger these bizarre visual experiences? And then is there a connection to extraterrestrial encounters, considering the recent surge in UFO discussions? Okay. And then are glitching AI entities influencing these unsettling events, signaling a future dominated by artificial beings? Ooh, pretty deep stuff. Okay. So we're going to jump into it. We're going to try to cram all this stuff in. As a note, we go deeper into, say, the science behind all this stuff that we're going to be talking about, say the multidimensional stuff, a lot of things that you see in the movies, like the butterfly effect with Ashton Kutcher. It's an older movie. The Spider-Man movies, the movie of Everywhere, Everything, All at Once. The theories of Albert Einstein saying, if it wasn't for time and space, everything would happen at once, right? Why does that happen? So we go deeper into the lecture series. So you might want to take a look at that. All right, let's jump in. I'm gonna share my screen. So just give me a second, guys. Where did it go? Everything's perfect until there we go. Share screen. Where are we? Here we go. All right, so we're going to take a look at this, and then we're going to come back to it here, and we'll discuss it. So
this woman saw something on her flight that no one else could see. Right before takeoff, she claims to have seen a man walk to the back of the plane that didn't look real. Obviously, many passengers were confused by what she meant, but she eerily seemed confident that everyone on the flight would die. Regardless, no one really listened to her, and she was forcefully escorted off the plane. And allegedly, the flight was delayed for hours on end because an inspection was conducted after her claims. And people in the comments had a lot to say, with about 90% of people calling her crazy and making fun of her, to the other 10% saying they would have also gotten off the plane after hearing someone make claims like that because it reminded them of Final Destination. This woman saw something
kind of crazy, right? Final Destination. What does that mean? Right. Again, a lot of prophecies out there, a lot of, say, scenarios where we're merging. But I want you to listen to this clip as well.
I gotta ask you, how does it feel to be traveling again?
Great.
You know, in the airport again after what you went through.
A little bit of anxiety, but
Right?
it's been good.
And a lot of people are curious
Yeah.
what exactly you saw, because you know you alluded to what you saw, but like we just want to know, like, you know, what did you see?
I mean, thanks for asking that. But I have visuals and I cannot comment on it right now.
I see.
Kind of strange.
What's the reason that you wanted to get off so bad?
Again, can't speak on that right now, but I was distressed and I was getting off the plane no matter what. I just probably didn't even make the scene that I made.
Right.
But I was getting off that plane for sure.
Right. And you stand by that, like, 100%. Even now.
100%.
Listen.
Alrighty, so kind of strange, right? It's like, why can't she comment on it? What was she told that she couldn't say? That's the crazy part about it all. So there must be something real that somebody doesn't want you to know. Well, here almost on Sunday, I'll tell you what the people that tell her not to say anything don't even know about what's going on. All right. All righty. So what happens? So, and it's not just her, guys. There's a ton of there. If you Google, you know, on YouTube, if you Google or go on YouTube, you know, you'll see a ton of just people on planes just going a bit crazy. So part of it could be one, you know, they've taken drugs, the prescription or otherwise, they've done something, they're irritated, they're you know, they're angry at something, or they had a fight and all that. But the deal is, no matter if it's like psychedelics or prescription drugs or, you know, too much drinking or whatever it might be, the problem that all these individuals share is that they're deficient in their spatial referencing. So spatial referencing is like a GPS. It's like a GPS for your body. It tells you where you're creating yourself in this reality. If it wasn't for GPS, that spatial referencing of your body, you would get delirious. This is where individuals who lack sleep, right? Sleep deprivation. Do you see that they start to see hallucinations? It's not hallucinations that they're seeing. They start to go a bit crazy. They start to say morph into, say, different aspects of themselves. Their hands, their body parts, and so on. They start to, say, fade away. They start to disappear. And these are all psychological facts that's been studied over and over and over again on sleep deprivation. By the way, you die faster with lack of sleep than you die with lack of food. That's how important sleep is about. Now, I'm not going to talk about the science of sleep from an XI point of view. Yes, it is about nurturing and so on like that. But in reality, just to give you a gist of it, because it'll tie into what these people are seeing, is that it resets you. It resets where you are creating or rendering yourself in space and time. It allows you to come back and reset you into this moment in time, the present moment in time, right? So with that being said, what these people are seeing is quite simple. Something triggers them to be more sensitive, and then they get spatially disoriented. And then what happens is that they start to see different realities within the realities. So the way realities work is like a fabric. And again, quantum mechanics, quantum physics, they talk about this all the time. This just goes much deeper into it. This fills in the holes that quantum physicists can't figure out on, again, gravity, dimensional space, how time works, time dilation, wormholes, and so on like that. It gets into this. So again, they're just like a fabric, right? They're interwoven. So the fabric, imagine this as tubes of realities, okay? And just like strings, they're huge pieces of string that we exist in. Our universe exists within, say, this wormhole, or again, the string, this thread, right? That's expanded. We're inside that thread, that fabric of the universe. All right. So with these individuals, since we have immense abilities, our physical body is stuck within the universe that it was created in or born into. But what happens is with these individuals, they start to see, not at a physical level, but at again, beyond the conscious mind level, because again, their GPS just is off a bit. What they start to see is the thread right next to the next layer of consciousness, or the next thread that they're seeing. Sometimes, obviously, there's tons of threads interwoven, or tons of, say, realities interwoven with each other, just like you would with a material, right? You can have, say, a material or a sheet, say, with a thread count of, say, 100, right? With very few threads per square inch. That's how they count sheets. Or you can have a really soft, very intricate sheet count of, say, 1,000 or 2,000 threads per inch. So that's a lot of threads, right? That's a lot of realities. That's a lot of consciousness. That's a lot of possibilities that are interwoven within, say, that small dimension of time and space. It's quite crazy. So with these individuals, what happens is somehow they start seeing through the thread. So the thread, or this wormhole that we exist in, and again, it is a wormhole that we exist in. It's the whole universe that we exist in. It's huge. It's not just very, it's not tiny. The walls around that veil that separates us from other realities, that starts to get really, really thin for people, for some individuals, okay? And then what they do is they peer through. And then what happens is that some of those, say, presences, or if you want to call them aliens or whatever, that they see, that merges in to this reality, and that's what she's seeing. So is she going crazy? Well, I would say not, although it could render you crazy if you start to see multiple realities. People who are in insane asylums, it's not the hallucinations in their head. They have a hard time spatial referencing. So brain-wise, their brains cannot tell which reality is which, where they are. Just like somebody who gets who's alcoholic, they start to forget where they are, what room they're in, what bar they're in, or what part of the house they're in. Same thing here. The only difference is that they start to forget. They start to not understand the reality that they're creating themselves in. And you can see a lot of crazy stuff, by the way. Okay. So I'm not saying this woman is alcoholic or anything like that, but I'm just giving you examples on how realities get disillusioned or disoriented. Again, it's not aspects of the mind. It's not hallucinations or anything like that. If you have somebody who is mentally unstable, or again, insane, or been locked away, and they see crazy things, right? They are, again, it's not mental blocks, it's not hallucinations. They literally are inept, or that part of their brain, that capacity, because that's what the brain mostly does, although scientists would not believe me. They're still researching on what the brain mostly does. That's what it does. I would say about 90% of your brain is focused in on spatial referencing your body parts, telling you that your hand is here compared to your body, so your body stays together. I put a clip on the Telegram channel, so you can go to XI with Masati on the Telegram app, and there you get little clips, personal clips. It's just raw me videoing, explaining some of the the sciences behind life. So when you start to see those individuals and what's happening with the world, those realities are actually merging together. So this is where a lot of people will start to say things of the past. They'll start to remember the loved ones who've died before them. They'll start to look like loved ones who've died before them. It's not just the lazy that went crazy on a plane. A lot of individuals will start to reminisce of the past, because what happened, those individuals, say, who have crossed over, their consciousness still exists. So there's not ghosts or anything like that. And I can explain ghosts, but not here. But that consciousness that still exists of them, they'll merge into this plane. right? So they'll become more transparent. And as they do, a lot of your, say, what you would call hereditary issues will exasperate. And it's not about, again, it's not about genetic patterns or anything like that, but you're going to be reliving. You'll start to see a lot of your individuals, your loved ones who don't do XI, probably reliving the past or starting to look like your great grandparents. It's kind of crazy stuff, but that's what's happening in this world. Okay. It's the deeper layer on how consciousness works. It's the deeper layer on how time and space and dimensions work. It's crazy, crazy stuff, guys. So that's what's happening in today's world. It's a great opportunity to clean all that shit out. That's what it's about. Not get entangled in it and not go, I don't believe it. Because whether you believe it or not, nature doesn't care. The universe doesn't care. If you don't believe in gravity and you jump off a roof, it doesn't care what you believe in. It's happening the way it should. And that's where we need to wake up and start to see the underlying reason on why stuff happens the way they do. It's not what we think, not in our political system, not how you make love, not anything like that, not how you make money, what your success is about, what your idea of who you are is about. None of that is correct. It's all wrong. We literally are living in the upside down world. So that upside down world has to get righted. And that's what's happening right now. Again, it's a great opportunity for us to awaken. All right. So explaining the passenger incident for you, hopefully that makes sense. Our encounters with non-human entities like AI or reptilian shapeshifters, the root cause. So what are, AI or reptilian? This thing about AI, before, I'm sure they were called aliens. Now they're called AI. So are they? So let's differentiate that. So what is an alien? Okay, and then we'll start to understand it. So again, there's different threads or different layers of consciousness that's happening here. Okay, you, for example, are a high-level being, creating yourself all in different layers of consciousness, and hence projecting yourself in physical form here. You would have to go through all these layers of consciousness, or filters, as I call them, to render yourself here. Okay. So what an alien would be is that you create yourself at a higher level. Say this is level 0 consciousness. This is level 0 consciousness. And this is where reality, this is where density happens. Right? Your light of who you are, or your essence, or your presence, or your consciousness of who you are, obviously is at a much, much higher level. Hence, you have a feeling of being a grander being, that knowing whether you're an atheist, whether you're a scientist and you don't believe in anything, you still know that there's a grander potential of who you are. That grander potential of who you are is literally you tapping in and understanding that this version of who you are, the physical form, is not you. This is not you alone. You're just a small grain of what you could be. Again, the higher potential that exists at higher levels of consciousness. So with that being said, what are aliens? Aliens are basically individuals, or not individuals per se, per human, but presences, however you want to define them. They could be frog people, they could be reptilian, they could be whatever it could be. There are different forms of life. Right? Different forms of life that just haven't graduated into, say, a top-level human being. Because it takes a lot of, say, intelligence or a lot of awareness to create, say, a species called humans that can render themselves and actually be conscious of time and space and how they render themselves. If you've ever wondered why, or what makes humans different, right? And then you go, well, we're conscious. We're conscious of our surroundings and so on. And that's what makes us different. We can reason. That's what makes us different. No, that's part of it. Animals reason. They calculate much faster than we can. AI reasons much faster than humans can. The only difference between humans and everything else is that they're aware that something is creating them from a higher level. AI is not aware of its creator. Animals are not aware of its creator. They are just present in the moment, right? So in that sense, organisms, again, they're not aware of, say, a being. They're not aware of space and time. They're not aware of how they render themselves. We have that consciousness, and that's what makes us different. So that consciousness, okay, exists in different levels. So those individuals who are alien, so they're at a higher level consciousness. So they might be, say, more intelligent or more aware. They might have, say, higher understanding how this place works. Because if you're at a level, say, 10 consciousness, and I'm just throwing numbers out just for an example, they're at a level 10 consciousness. We're at a level 0 consciousness. They cannot create the density that we can. Okay, for us to create the density to exist in this plane, we'd have to dumb ourselves down, and hence all these filters below this level 10 consciousness. So we literally dumb ourselves down, kind of like a magic trick. We're trying to forget the magic of how we create ourselves. That's the only way we can create ourselves, by the way. So these alien forms at a higher level, they're stuck. They don't know how to create the next filter. They don't know how to create, say, more density, hence they're stuck. So although sometimes, at times, as, say, realities collide or they merge together, the threads, again, get thinner. The veil gets thinner and thinner. Before it was it's like a solid, say, opaque veil. Now that veil is getting less and less opaque. And then pretty soon it'll be clear, just like that lady on the plane. It becomes so real that she cannot tell the realities that she exists in. Kind of crazy, right? So these aliens, again, they start to see us. We start to see them, because realities, or the wormholes, the boundaries of time and space, basically, that's what a wormhole is. Boundaries of time and space, and how that time and space work. So those things get more opaque or clear, and then we start to see. Hence, we start to see what what's out there. So you might call it AI or aliens or reptilian. Again, they're shapeshifters. So what shapeshifters are is individuals who have, say, it's kind of like osmosis, but not really. What happens is that in a wormhole, again, a universe, time and space, say, let's just say, call it the 24-hour clock. Okay. Our rendering of time and space is based on, say, defined as a 24-hour clock. They might run on a 36-hour clock or a 120-hour clock. So say our 1 hour might be 10 years to them, or vice versa. So in that scenario, they, say, rapidly go through a process so fast that even if they saw us, for example, or even if we saw them, if those two aren't in sync, those time frames, okay, it's about frame rates. And again, this is getting a little in-depth, frame rates. If they're not in sync, we would not see, or we would not be able to see them, because we're not, say, programmed. We're not, our hardware is not conditioned to see that fast of a frame rate, and vice versa. But now, as realities are getting thinner and thinner, the frame rates are merging together. Okay, so their frame rate is slowing down. Our frame rate might be speeding up, or vice versa. I don't know, what frame rates people use, or what time frames people are in, or time dimensions, how time and space work. Okay, as they merge together, or if the shapeshifters, they have capabilities of going, oh, in this reality, I run or resonate at a frame rate of, say, 100. So, for example, an hour here is 100 hours there, okay, in their reality. And they go, oh, I want to be in this reality. Again, they've started to understand or merge. By the way, I expand into different layers of consciousness, but I don't change my frame rate. Sometimes I do. I'm not alien, by the way, or could be. I don't know. We never know. We're all aliens, right? Because we're higher level beings. So, but back to our story here, is that, oh, I can come down into this reality. All I have to do is synchronize myself with the frame rate or space-time on how this reality works. This is Einstein's theory. When you start to resonate at a certain frequency, you morph into that frequency of who you are. So if you're, say, for example, just to step aside, take a breath in. Say, for example, that say, for example, that you want to create massive success. Well, you resonate at a level to create massive success. That's how we use, say, frame rates or frequencies. We resonate at a frequency that creates massive success. And then through your hard work and everything else, you attract massive success to you. If your frame rate or your frequency does not resonate with massive success, no matter what you do, no matter how many courses you take, no matter how much they guarantee that you're going to be a millionaire, billionaire, whatever, that's not going to work out for you if you don't, again, raise your frequency. So this is where I say, change your frequency, change your life, not change your state of mind. Like some other people say, change your state, you change your life. No, you change your frequency, you change your life. Okay. So back to here, shapeshifters, what they do is go, oh, I want to resonate like a human. Humans resonate at, I don't know, X, frequency. And frequencies are all the same, by the way. It's just the modulation, okay, on how fast or how slow and how close you resonate. Okay. So, and again, we talk about all this stuff on the lecture series. So when shapeshifters go, oh, humans resonate at, Y frequency, they have a tendency, they have the capacity to resonate. Well, I'll shift to that frequency, and then you morph into that frequency. So this is very close to, if you wanted to be, say, a squirrel, right? What's the ideation of a squirrel? So if you resonate at a same frequency as a squirrel, you literally would feel like a squirrel. Okay? If you stayed there long enough, your body would morph into, say, a squirrel form. Kind of crazy. But this is where people who are called furries and so on like that, over time, the idea of a human frequency, what humans are, because they don't like human frequencies, they want to escape that. They go into, being a cat or a dog or whatever they want to be, right? They'd rather resonate at that. And then you look at them and go, shit, they do look like a cat or whatever that they want to endear. Okay? Same thing with shapeshifters. This is what's happening, by the way, in a physical form. The ideation or the frequency of what humans are, nobody, it's so distorted or so watered down that we're getting fucked up by not knowing what even humans are. So when you are exponentially intelligent, like a lot of you are becoming, do you start to notice that people aren't feeling human anymore? And this is a recording, by the way. Okay. So I can't see your comments, but comment in for other people. Those of you who are become exponentially intelligent and start to awaken, do you notice that you're starting to see people and going, they're not real. It doesn't feel like a real human. You're starting to go back to the original form or the original frame rate frequencies. They're a little different, frame rates and frequencies. They're a little different. You're starting to go, oh, that's not the original form. It's not the grand being of who you are. And you're starting to see all the bullshit that creates them, which doesn't make them human. Okay. We call it genetics or hereditary. I would call it de-evolution, not evolution. So, so with that in mind, there are encounters with non-human entities. Now that we know where they come from, what they are, whether they AI or aliens or reptilians. Again, there's different forms. Reptilians. There's insect type frequencies. There are like angelic type, say, worlds or realities out there. There are amphibious type realities out there. Those are lower levels, and they don't really have a consciousness. They're more, say, animal type. So this is why a lot of, say, reptilian type individuals or people who are possessed by reptilian type individuals, and I'm not going to name names, but let's just say a lot of people who are in power, they're starting to look like reptilians. The Simpsons, God, Mr. Burns, right? Looks a little reptilian there. Well, because the consciousness on and the success that they have because they resonate. It's interesting. Okay. Reptilians, they're very good at they're very good at survival. Okay? So because it's an animal frequency, right? We've hopefully gone beyond that, but not by far. We're basically drowning, so we're always trying to survive. But animals have had a great key. In fact, they morph, they transform, right? They have certain instincts that help them survive better and better and better. Humans kind of gone away from that, but that's another story. So that instinct of, say, survival, right? Basically reptilian, those individuals who, say, possess a lot of power and possess a lot of money, and they're starting to look like reptilians. I hate to say this, but I saw the CEO of a pharmaceutical company. I'm not going to name, but if you look at them, it's like, oh shit, they look a little reptilian. So and the reason why I say it's a survival mechanism, they're very, say, adept at surviving, and that's why they're powerful here, because humans, again, have lost that ideation of who they are. So they understand the idea of who they are, but they're running from a lower level frequency, hence they have to control everything. But since it's a survival mechanism, they'll always have to control more and more and more and more, because that frequency doesn't work with humans. So again, over time, they have to control more and more and more to feel powerful, or to feel that they're in control, to feel that they're going to survive and not go extinct. So again, some people who are shapeshifters or come into that, say, genre of humans, they become really successful, they become powerful, but it's not a good life for them. Their families are they're corrupt. They have crazy things happen to them, so on. No wonder, because they're not really of human frequency. They're shapeshifters, right? So that's how that works for you, AI, reptilian shapeshifters, the root cause. Again, it's not really the root cause. It literally is that we are getting more adept at seeing other possibilities of how we could be. So it sounds negative, but in reality, it's a positive, because there is a reality for you. For example, this is how you can use it as a positive. Okay, once you decipher what reality is which, by spatial referencing, where we teach you on the 18-day hyper meditations. So if you're interested, take a look at the 18-day hyper meditations, and if the team's there, they can post a link on what they are and how they can help you understand different dimensions of time, different dimensions of self. Because it's remember I said, change your frequency, change your life. You change your frequency, you fall into a different dimension of self, somebody that is wealthier, somebody that is healthier, somebody that is more vibrant. You change those different dimension of self, hence you vibrate at that frequency. Okay, that's where this reality, or that's what's happening for us. So once you get rid of all the stuff that is merging or crashing in on us, some people see it, some people just get exasperated by it. Either way, you're still going to experience it, no matter what. Right? You just your form of experiencing it is different. Okay? By the way, you'll see more and more people go crazy. They're not going crazy. They're just seeing altered realities that are available to us. On the flip side, on how you can use it better, as I was saying, is that you can go, wait a second, this dimension of self is a lot like my parents. There's a better dimension of self over there. How do I get there? Well, you change your frequency. And as you change your frequency, you morph into that dimension, right? And then as you morph into that dimension, you become that individual who is healthier, brighter, and so on. So that's how exponential intelligence works. By changing your frequency, you change your dimension of self, and then you have a greater life. Not only do you have a greater life here, you have better, better income, relationships work out better, but then you have possibilities of exploring the world that's out there that we haven't even, say, explored yet begun to go through. Possibilities of crazy stuff that are out there, power that is so unbelievably amazing that it trumps what we have here, technologies that don't destroy us. It's all available to us, all there. All we have to do, again, is resonate like we should. All right. So could a shift in Earth's gravitational pull trigger these bizarre visual experiences? Absolutely. So as we merge, again, as we become more and more concise or more efficient, as the veil becomes more and more transparent, because realities are merging, they have to become more efficient. So yes, Earth is changing. Earth has a frequency of its own. Imagine filters. Okay, you're living in this bubble. Okay, and it's Earth. So Earth has a filter, creates Earth, and then within that Earth filter, we've got nature, and then within that nature filter, we've got humans. Part of that. Within that bubble, we've got all these cultures, race, creed, and all that stuff, and then you have a filter of your own. So as the Earth changes, so as that dimension of, say, time and space, or how time and space are reflected and frame rates are reflected, Earth has to change to adapt, because that's how this universe, say, has transformed or kept in pace or evolved over trillions of years, I would say. Right? Not billions, but I would say trillions of years. It's evolved into the level that it's at. So this shift is not just a one-time thing. It's always evolving. It's always changing. Humans have that ability or that opportunity not to change, unfortunately, or be ahead of the curve, like you do when you become exponentially intelligent. All right. So that time shift is the cause of the Earth's gravitational changes, is my point. And as that changes, obviously humans have to change as well. Okay. So your connection to extraterrestrial encounters, considering the recent surge of UFOs, I talked about that already. So yes, as the veil becomes more and more transparent, as we become aware on different frame rates, the reason why you can't see a lot of things in your reality, although things merge, some of you, again, comment in, even if this is a recording, comment in on those individuals who can walk into a room and go, oh, shit, I know what happened here 50 years ago, right? Or, you get deja vu on another Moss on Sunday. I'll explain deja vu, especially, when you're in altered states using psychedelics, ayahuasca and all that, and you go, gosh, it feels really, really familiar to me. Why is that? But you can't place it on it. So that's another Moss on Sunday Life Explained for you on that. But again, so the UFOs, what's happening? So what's happening for the UFOs is, again, what's happening is that as the veil gets more and more transparent, we start to see what's going on in altered realities or altered states, or as frequencies or time, the frequencies start to resonate or synchronize with each other, you'll start to see more and more things. And the cool thing about that is that for you to see those things, it's good for you. It's a great opportunity for you to understand the frequency that you resonate at. So as, say, realities change, you stay constant. You stay at your frequency. You don't morph into, I don't know, a reptilian, an AI, or, freaky stuff, or, your grandmother that's passed, and so on and so on. You don't change because you understand your frequency. That's the key. You have to understand who you are, the frequency or the IP address that you resonate at. Once you understand that, then you can go into the multidimensional self, and you can actually see multi dimensions of all the realities that coexist in this reality. Right? Some of you are already starting to see that. And that's why I said, if you walk into a place and go, oh shit, I know what happened 50 years ago. Well, that veil of time is getting thinner for you. So you are staying coherent in where you should be. And then you can reference, because there's a reference point here. You can go, oh yeah, 50 years ago, this happened here. Because all those things are actually still living at some level. It's just stored away for many people. Okay, so UFO discussions. Again, the UFOs, unidentified flying objects. There's technologies, like I alluded to earlier on Let's Talk, that there's the technologies out there that are highly advanced, but they're not as, say, solid. They're not as created as dense as what we have here. So if we can bring those technologies into this density, we'd have amazing things, but or amazing technological advances. That's the next, say, technological advance that we're actually going to come to, by the way. Are glitching AI entities influencing these unsettling events? Again, they're not influencing it. I told you the root cause, the original cause, time and space functions are changing. As time and space functions not only change for our reality, but then other coexisting realities around us, again, the fabric of realities, as they change, you're going to start to see, again, all these entities, unsettling events, and so on like that. These are, like I said, great opportunities to understand the mechanics of how this reality works. XI is all about that, understanding how time and space function. And as you understand that, and why it's important to you, is that you start to understand why and who you are. Okay, much better than any religion or spiritual practice, or going out there and making $1 billion. You understand who you are, and you can bring power. You can bring in influence that's proper for you and the world. And this is where we can live in a harmonious world here and be abundant and not kill ourselves and not destroy ourselves because we don't understand what's going on. All right, guys. Hopefully that's helped you out. Stay tuned, subscribe to this channel, tell your friends about it, like this channel, post it on your social media for us so we can grow more and more. And that's how we can transform the world. Because if we can save the humans, save ourselves, we'll save the planet. That's what it's all about. All right. Peace.